Over the last couple of weeks, I've been telling you I'm a storyteller. And of course, I wake up sometime and the story just pops in my mind. In recent weeks, I've been hearing all the debates about Democrat versus Republican. And of course, black folks are always anti-Republican, including some of the people I've known for 30 or 40 years. There's a story they don't tell. Most of them hate Richard Nixon. Most of them have no idea who people like Dr. Art Fletcher, Lewis Dodd, some of the great warriors I've known in my life. Most black folks don't know that Frederick Douglass was a Republican, that most black folks were Republicans until the 40s when Eleanor Roosevelt gave us an integrated section of the military. Let me tell you the Republicans I knew. When I switched from being a Democrat to Republican, it was because a lot of my Democrat friends had what I call plantation mentality. Now, I don't have any loyalty to anything that is not, first of all, African or black. During the 60s, I was a good Democrat. I kept watching my buddies switch and do all the things that I would never do. So a group of guys got me together, took me to a meeting in San Jose with Secretary of the Interior Rogers Morton, and we blew it. The next meeting was Richard Nixon. By this time we gotten a little smarter. There was a guy named Rich Sweat who was the first black member of the Electoral College I ever met. With these guys, we developed things like, you've probably never heard of the Philadelphia Plan, which created affirmative action, developed by Dr. Arthur Allen Fletcher under Richard Nixon. You've probably never heard of local development corporations. I was the chairman of the local development corporation in Southeast San Francisco, where we raised money to put black businesses in Southeast San Francisco. You've never heard of 8A set-asides, where we actually caused the government to set aside funds for us to do business. Small business investment companies, we created a minority enterprise small business investment corporation, which allowed us to leverage up to $75 million for black businesses. You've never heard of Charles Wallace, who had the first black oil refinery in Tuskegee, Alabama. He did this as a Republican because he could not get money to finance his laundromat businesses in New York. So he ended up going to Tuskegee. You never heard of Ron Brown? I mean, there were so many powerful people. We had black folks who were on boards of directors of major corporations, but they came back to the community to do what black folks should do. These are all black Republicans. Now, I'm not in favor of either Democrats or Republicans because my philosophy is since Reagan, every president except 3 has done exactly the same thing. George Bush Sr., head of CIA, but he must have been a proud U.S. citizen because he actually raised taxes on big businesses that Clinton benefited from. Of course, Clinton came along and eliminated Glass-Steagall, put more black folks in jail than anybody out there, and Hillary calls us super predators. Those things don't bother you. Obama attacked Libya and is now attacking Syria the same way that George Bush did. There's a legacy that started with Reagan that has not changed, and I have to admit, I walked for Reagan. I knew Reagan when he was a Democrat. And I walked the streets of Southern California. Of course, my buddies from the Black Panther Party, when they started Black Panther Party, Reagan was as anti-gun as anybody, because in 30 days, they changed all the gun laws. The gun laws that you see now, a lot of them were because of Black Panther Party. They never shot anybody. Of course, they accused them of shooting people. But as black Republicans, we understood that. Our commitment was to black people, to the black community. Now my commitment, I'm watching Robert Mugabe in Africa doing all the things every black Republican would have done in my generation had they had the opportunity. Meanwhile, there's a debate between black folks about whether I should be a Democrat or Republican. Well, I'm gonna go back to my ancestors. I would guess that Frederick Douglass, the first mayor of my hometown, Roanoke, Virginia, in 1975, could not win as a Democrat. He became a Republican, and guess what? He was mayor from 1975 to 1992. So if you want to talk Democrat and Republican, I can introduce you to some black Republicans that'll wear you out. And all of them were warriors. All of us are soldiers. I know you hate us going to the military. A lot of them are police officers. But we were damn good.